There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks, welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonkō Table. That is the voice of GrandMasterHoop coming at you from, I don't know, the high towers of who knows where on Middle Earth, because it's been 10 years since The Hobbit. It's been 20 plus years since the Lord of the Rings franchise. But guess what, baby? We are back for Amazon's new hit series, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. That's right, everyone. We are heading back to Middle Earth, aka New Zealand, to tackle the Lord of the Rings franchise again. But this time we're going way back. I don't even know how many years back, but we're going back before Frodo. We're going back before Bilbo. We're going back before Gandalf. And we're up for a new adventure with literally maybe two familiar faces. And goodness gracious, who knows what's in store. But goodness, just like Lord of the Rings, you need a fellowship to go on these quests with you. With me, as always, is the Frodo to my Sam, or the Sam to my Frodo, DrJaceAttorney. DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō, are you happy to be making this trek across Middle Earth again?
What are you doing, Frodo? Throw the ring in the fire. Yes, we have breakfast. But what about second breakfast?
Oh, wow. The Pippin to my Merry, the Gimli to my Legolas. Goodness.
That's about one of the few things I can quote from Lord of the Rings. I've seen them. I've seen the movies, and the Hobbit trilogy. I'm surprised it's been 10 years since the Hobbit trilogy too. The
last Hobbit film was 2013, so
wow.
10 years next year. Yeah.
Good. And those films were a year apart. Right?
Yep, a year apart.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's wow. I don't know what to say to that.
I lied. The last one came out in 2014. Sorry.
Okay, 1 year off. It's
almost 10 years since.
I'm surprised it's been that long either way. So I guess in a way we've kind of gotten Lord of the Rings content every 10 years. Has that been the tradition since Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, there's been a Lord of the Rings project every decade since 2001. Yeah.
Okay, nice. I'm familiar with the names and some of the places. I've seen all the movies, so there's that. I read The Hobbit like in middle school, whatever. I remember from that. I did play the Shadow of Mordor games.
Okay.
So like Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. And so there were some names thrown in this show in Rings of Power that I recognized, and I'm like, oh, so that guy is alive during this period. So I wonder if he might reference future events, because Shadow of War takes place way after this. But Rings of Power is during the second age of Middle Earth, whatever the hell that means, but that means it's 3,000 years before Fellowship of the Ring. So
okay,
3,000 years in the past.
Okay, 3,000 years. All right, I didn't know what the correct timing was, so we're 3,000 years before. You said the Fellowship?
Before the Fellowship of the Ring. Right.
Before the Fellowship. Okay, that's a good freaking long time.
Yeah. I thought it was maybe a couple centuries or something. Nope, it's 3 millennia.
Yeah, that's a very long time. What may be a blink of an eye for an elf, but for everybody else, yes, for everybody else, it's kind of super long time. But goodness gracious, so yeah, Lord of the Rings project. Every decade we have this new series, which I know Amazon, oh man, I should have looked at these numbers. Amazon poured a good amount of money into this series.
Wasn't it like oh God, it was a couple 100 million or a couple. It was something where like they poured a significant amount of money into each and every episode.
Yes.
Right.
I'm trying to find it real quick because it's crazy because my gosh. Okay.
So a quick search. Oh wait, did you find it?
I think I found it.
Go ahead.
One, they got the television rights for Lord of the Rings, so that cost them $250 million
to get the rights.
For the television rights to Lord of the Rings. Amazon paid $250 billion. And
wait, million or billion?
Million.
Okay.
Now, this is crazy to think about. Basically, in 2017, they said they're committing to 5 seasons right off rip, and it will be at least $1 billion.
A bit what? Like
across the 5 seasons. The 5 seasons.
Okay. So I have a number here how many episodes are we for this season? 10?
Ooh, 10 or 9. I think maybe 8 because typical typical Amazon production is usually about 8 or 9 episodes.
So I was able to find the number. It's 58 million per episode.
Per episode,
making it the most expensive television series ever made. I think it trumps Game of Thrones. That
trumps Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because I remember Game of Thrones held that crown first. I think, right? Didn't they hold the crown for most expensive television series for a time?
Can't be 58 mil though. No
way.
I
mean, yeah, not to that amount, but I think I could be wrong, but I think Game of Thrones had the crown for that, at least in its later seasons.
I mean, I believe it. I believe it, no doubt.
Yeah, but 58 million per episode. So we just watched goodness, I'm terrible at math, $116 million worth of content.
That's good math. Yeah, that's it.
Do you feel like you watched $116 million worth of content?
I'm gonna tell you what. One thing I always liked about Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones. So sorry. Sorry. About Lord of the Rings, I love the aesthetic of it all. I love the costumes. I love the scenery, the exterior shots. And I was worried coming into this series, because The Hobbit kind of skimped on a lot of that. The Hobbit kind of went for the CGI, the visual effects. Hardly anything was practical. If you are dumping 58 million per episode, and based off of these first 2 episodes, I think it shows. Those were real exterior shots. They're back in New. Yeah, they're back, man. They're in New Zealand. They're back.
Are they doing the whole the year-long commitment thing that Lord of the Rings, like how the original cast from Lord of the Rings,
back to back,
they lived there in New Zealand for X amount of time? Is that what they're doing, or just kind of filming in New Zealand?
Well, that's the thing. I guess it depends on when they started, because I feel this thing's been in production. I'm looking at it now. According to this, since 2018. So they might already be almost done filming, like
a season 2, probably. Or
they might be well on their way. So they might live there. They say, hey, you ain't going nowhere, filming started mid-January 2020. So
but production maybe started way before that, right?
Yeah, costume building, set designing, all that started before. Yeah,
I will admit, Lord of the Rings, it's funny, I always get this Lord of the Rings craze every couple years, where I absorb some new piece of media, and then I start investing in the lore again. I start remembering the timelines, the kingdoms, and all that stuff. And then some time passes, I forget all of it again, and I have to go back and keep digging. But it's one of the few franchises that I can do that with, where I remember some names, but I don't mind digging back into the mythos again, because to me it's like comfort food. I don't know. It's Lord of the Rings franchise. It's very satisfying to like dive deep into. I mean, and that's probably a testament to Tolkien's mythos and lore and characters that he created through Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff like that. I really like the opening to the episode 2.
What was the sand, kind of like that, the mineral, whatever that material was, like forming shapes and stuff?
Yeah.
Different.
It cool. Was this the return to form that you wanted out of Game of Thrones?
Oh, see, you did it too.
It's hard. It's hard. You know what? They did this on purpose too. The
timeliness of this release.
It's very, very timely. They did it because they're both fantasy-esque series. Obviously, Lord of the Rings it leans more into its fantasy side of things compared to Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, it focuses more on like the politics of what would go on in a realm like this.
No, literally watching this show. I mean, in recent years, of course, your mind's gonna go to Game of Thrones. But like you said, Game of Thrones is very, take out the dragons, take out some of the mysticism. It's like the 1300s, 1200s,
right?
In terms of it's a political game. So I appreciate Game of Thrones for that. But I do really appreciate what they do in Lord of the Rings, which is this. It is really a tale of good versus evil, but it's like so like there's so much depth to it that it's not like basic, there's so much lore to explore. So is it a return to form? Yeah. I mean, so far. And again, as you said, it's a comfort food. I feel every good amount of years, someone comes along in my life where I've never seen Lord of the Rings. Oh my gosh, I have to put you on. And then, I get more of a kick out of rewatching it than they are watching it their first time. So,
right.
But now I am whatever about The Hobbit, but the OG Lord of the Rings films, I say that's better than Harry Potter. That's better than Star Wars. Yeah, man, I'm on that train. Lord of the Rings is like GOAT level status, man.
Okay.
I will argue that to the death.
That's
I will
heavy.
argue that to the death. I will argue that. Yeah.
I mean, I would need to rewatch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I haven't seen them in years. I think I attempted one time to like start from scratch again, and I barely got through Fellowship because it was too long. And not out of like, oh my God, I'm so bored, 3 hours in. It was long, and I just did not finish it. It was good what I was watching. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I feel like it's building up, I guess what we're going to be seeing throughout the season and potentially the rest of the seasons, because I mean, the Rings of Power is supposed to be focusing on the actual Rings of Power, right? Like how they were formed.
Yes.
Like the realm of man, the dwarves, the elves, how they all got a set of rings. I mean, I imagine they're saving that for like the culmination later on down the line, like you said, like 5 seasons. Maybe they'll save that for...
Interestingly enough, I thought we were going to get them right off rip. Maybe.
Let me clarify. The battle for the rings later on. I guess the actual rings we might get them in the first season.
Okay.
But like the war that erupts when they're fighting for the one ring.
Because Sauron makes his own ring.
Right, exactly. So
I think enslave them all.
Exactly. I think that's Endgame. So like season 4 or 5, if they decide to go that far. But yeah, I enjoyed what we had so far. And it's one of the few times where I always harp on this in every series or movie, whatever that we watch. I hate exposition dumps. I hate them. However, I was okay with this one in Lord of the Rings. I thought in a way it was kind of necessary, and the way that they told it, I was kind of invested. I was paying attention. Like I didn't know again, this speaks to my knowledge of Lord of the Rings. I thought Middle Earth was their entire world, right? Like obviously there's more beyond the sea, the oceans, but you know, this is like ancient times. If you try to sail across the ocean, you're probably gonna die. So no one's ever bothered exploring that far. I didn't know there was an elven homeland off to the west of Middle Earth.
I think I knew it, but then also, you know, if you're just going off of the films, it wouldn't really matter or whatnot. I know people have explored the lore in the years past. You know, the ending of Return of the King sees all of them, funny enough,
Like
Galadriel, Frodo, Gandalf, Elrond going back. That's where they're going.
Oh, so they knew they were going there, and that's where they were going?
They so basically, you know, and speaking of the opening, are actually kind of getting ahead of, you know, they were going there to heal. Frodo was going there to heal after having spent so much time with the ring and being stabbed by the Morgul blade. He was going there to heal. And, you know, and in this premiere, Galadriel is offered the chance to go back and heal for carrying this torment and whatnot. So I was aware, but I never was like, hey, I wonder what the elven home world or homeland is, you know? It never kind of crossed my mind to think about it. But yeah, it's there. It's a thing. It's
I had no
Middle
idea.
Earth. I used to think it was just Middle Earth. It's a planet in the middle, not a piece of land in the middle.
Oh my God. You never thought that there was stuff beyond?
No, not again. I didn't really think about it.
Goodness. I mean, I always wondered that because like what you said with Frodo, maybe if I had rewatched the movie, I would remember maybe a name that was dropped. But I do remember the ending, right? Where Frodo embarks with, you know, the rest of the crew to sail off to the west. But I thought they were going into uncharted territory. It's like, oh, well, let's just sail out there and let's see what we come across. And I'm like, wow, if there's a sequel to this, you know, maybe new land or something.
No. It's
Okay.
not anything new. They know where they're going.
Got it.
Yeah. But interesting enough, you pointed out the exposition dump. We get the exposition dump from Galadriel, and in Fellowship of the Ring, we get an exposition dump from Galadriel. So nice little
do we?
parallel. Yes, we do. When she's
is Galadriel in Lord of the Rings?
Galadriel is Cate Blanchett's character.
The one that Aragorn falls.
No. That's Liv Tyler. That's Arwen.
Goodness.
Let me help you out. I got you.
Okay.
Galadriel is the blonde elf who lives in the forest, and she's like of the highest power.
Okay, I got it. I remember.
And she's like, if you give me the ring, I will be a dark queen.
Oh,
You remember when she's like, Frodo offers her the ring in the Fellowship, and she's like, I cannot deny the temptation. But she's like, but instead of a dark lord, you will have a dark queen.
I honestly need, like, it vaguely sounds familiar. I need to look it up again. Like, I remember like a blonde queen in the forest, and she was tempting Frodo to give her the ring. It's kind of hazy after that. Like, I don't know if she actually got it. I mean, clearly she didn't. But like,
no. She doesn't like tempt him. She just basically like forewarn. She like shows him the future of what would happen if he would fail, and then, you know, Frodo wants to drop the burden on her, and then she's like, no, that's a terrible idea, don't you dare. And then from there, it's like she blesses him, and she gives him that jar, the light of Arendi, the light of our most trusted star.
I see. Okay.
And then honestly, she just makes brief little appearances throughout the rest of the series, and then shows up at the end of Return of the King. And she's not, I wouldn't blame you if you honestly don't remember her. Other elves get more time than her.
Okay, got it.
But she is our focal point for this series. She's our main character. I think we're going to be spending,
it seems so,
a good chunk of time with her.
Right. It looks like they took a page out of the. I mean, I doubt Game of Thrones is the one that originated this concept for like television storytelling, but I feel like they took a page out of Game of Thrones. I feel like they popularized this form of storytelling where you have characters spread out across different settings and you explore the little stories that they're going through as they all start to converge into one. Like eventually they're all going to meet together at some point, or their storylines are going to converge. But in case you don't like a certain character, well, then here's a story with someone else that you might like. Here's like maybe 10 minutes of this character, and then so on and so on. Because we get like, yeah, she is Galadriel, I would say, is the main character of the main cast, but then there's a main cast of like characters that we're following. There's Galadriel. There's I don't remember that elf's name, the one with the torch in your background.
Arondi. Arondir. Okay. My brother.
Goodness. Was there really never a black elf before?
There were black people of color are in Lord of the Rings. They're under a shit ton of makeup. No, they're under a shit ton of makeup and prosthetics as orcs.
Wow, really?
Really?
No way. Are you serious?
Yes. Okay, so
no way.
If you look up Lurtz is that he is the Uruk-hai that killed Boromir, who killed Ned Stark. Like he shot him the 3 times in the chest in the Fellowship.
That killed Ned Stark?
Boromir, the actor, Sean Bean.
Oh, okay. Boromir.
Yeah, Boromir. He shot him, remember, 3 times in the first film.
Oh, yeah.
That dude is a dark-skinned New Zealand man. Like he's
this guy who looks like a white person is no, wait.
What, did you look up Lurtz?
I looked up Boromir.
No, don't. No, that's
like,
Sean Bean.
What?
No, that's Sean Bean. No, I'm talking about Lurtz.
How do you spell his name? Lutrz?
Lurtz. Yes.
RTZ. Okay.
He's the only person of color I know that is in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
But he's covered in makeup the whole time. So what does it matter?
Oh, okay. I remember this guy. Yeah, he was like a general, right? Kind of like a captain.
Yeah. He was the leader of the Uruk-hai.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the only person of color I know, but again, he's under all this makeup.
Wow.
So, yeah. And here we are.
That.
Yeah, here we are. 20. Whatever. What are we? 2022.
2022.
Filmed in 2020. And I think I like seeing this. I mean, Game of Thrones is actually doing this too now. I guess more, kind of more prominent roles for people of color. Because, like, why the hell not? It's a fantasy
This is
world.
not canon to Tolkien's mythos.
Are you one of them? No,
I'm not one of them. I just find it funny.
Hey, dude, this man's Puerto Rican. That's you.
Oh, ooh. My brother. Wow, I had no idea. That's funny. That's funny.
Yes. I just, again, it's like, it's cool to see, as someone who was always a fan of Lord of the Rings, now we got some people represent. This dude has a fade. He's literally got a fade. Who the hell edging up this man's lineup in Middle Earth?
It ain't the elves. It ain't the other elves.
It ain't the other elves. They said, yo, you got to take that down south, man. We got long hair over here. We don't do that. We don't do that.
We do not.
We don't do that.
Oh,
whoa, we don't do that. We the blonde elves over here. You dark skinned. Nah, you got to go over there with them other elves.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's a skit. Write that down.
I'm writing it down. I have my pen. I'm writing
so
it
yeah,
down.
it's cool. Did you did it take you out? Did it catch you? Did you know this was going to be a prominent thing?
I mean, like I knew it was because I saw it in the promotional material. It didn't bother me as long as most of them were talking British. I feel like that's part of the aesthetic of Tolkien is the accents.
Yes.
That's what it's based on. So as long as they're speaking British, I guess some of them don't have to speak British, but
just kind of that accent that they have.
Yeah, like, get with the times of what this fantasy world is supposed to be in. But yeah, I didn't care that, it's not an all white cat. It's funny. I didn't even realize that until they started showing the cast for Rings of Power. So if you had asked me, can you name a single person of color from the original Lord of the Rings? I probably could not, because there wasn't any, but I would not have thought of that, because I wasn't thinking like, oh wow, there really isn't a single person of color prominent in Lord of the Rings. I didn't know. And then looking back on it, and now you're telling me the one person of color played an orc general. I'm like, oh my God. I didn't know. So it is nice to see that, they're kind of just letting anyone join the realm that is Tolkien's universe. They don't have to just be a white British guy or a white British woman.
Right.
So it's nice. It's nice to see it. So that's cool. I like
it. It adds a layer. Again, you're in 2022. If you really want to attract an audience, let people be able to see themselves in what they're watching. So,
I know I've seen like social media posts where they're saying, oh, Rings of Power went woke. They went woke. I'm like, what is woke about this?
What is so woke about casting some people of color? Why is that a woke idea? Like in God forbid, in a mythical world that's not real, Oh
my God. It's just funny. It's just funny.
I've seen it.
I like seeing the discourse.
It's funny to laugh at clowns because, whoa, let's gatekeep Lord of the Rings. This is a white show. This is a white movie. Get your own. You have Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. You don't need this.
Oh my God.
Either way. So, like you said, I don't think Game of Thrones broke the wheel when they said let's focus on multiple factions of characters. Galadriel is at probably the forefront here.
Mm-hmm.
We get the backstory of the elves came over to fight evil, to fight Morgoth,
the big bad, the ultimate, I guess, enemy that was, the original, the devil. They went to fight the devil.
Literally, they came looking for him too.
Yes.
They said, we're gonna cross the sea. We heard this dude's over here being evil. We're gonna kick his ass.
Well, because he assuming it's male, I don't know. He destroyed their tree of light.
Oh, that's what it was. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guessing, and again, I'm sure she explained it in the exposition, but like that's like the source of their light or something, and this thing took it away, so they're like, yo, kill him. Let's fight the devil.
Let's go kick that bastard. Let's go. Instigating incident for the series. Galadriel's brother was leading the way. He gets killed by Morgoth's #1 general, who is Sauron. And we all know Sauron, who is the big bad of, I guess, even before The Hobbit, after The Hobbit, and all the way up into Return of the King and their climax. Sauron is the big guy. So it's interesting to see now Sauron in a different position than we're used to him.
Right. He's usually at the top.
He's at the top.
And I gave him the crown of devil because that's what he was in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Right.
But it turns out there was an even bigger devil above him. So I guess you can, I don't know what you would call him. I know there's I think there was like some promotional material that showed Sauron before he became the big bad.
Some people said that's not Sauron.
Oh, some people said that's not him.
Yes, I know what what you call them, the bootleg M&M or
discount
something.
M&M.
The discount M&M.
Yeah.
There's some people saying he's not Sauron.
Okay.
He could be very much, which I would also like to see kind of
the
how
origins,
his origins. Yeah. How is he corrupted? But I guess at this point, we're going to see him now kind of rise to devil status.
Okay.
I guess. I mean, he's currently on the run. Apparently.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot the name. Galadriel.
Galadriel.
No N.
Yeah.
Galadriel. Yeah. Her brother died in the battle, like you said, and now Sauron's on the run. So she spends centuries, tracking this dude down, trying to find him, right? And it's something where I was wondering which mythos it was that I was trying to remember it from, because I remember we had a conversation on something probably unrelated to Lord of the Rings. I remember there was a mythos where elves never died, and they age endlessly, right? So long as they've never succumbed to an illness or get like stabbed or like mortally wounded, they could basically live for all eternity.
Yeah.
I guess it was this one. It had to have been this one then, because I didn't know if it was if I got that from Aragon. I don't know if I got that from
no, it's Lord of the Rings. The elves basically are almost immortal, other than what you just said, dying by other means. They don't age. I mean, they age, but it's like super slow. Right. And it's also based on, I think, some stars, and kind of like an elf can choose to give up their immortality.
Oh, okay.
That is what Arwen did. That's Aragorn's wife, lover.
Oh,
played by
the blonde one.
No, not blonde one. Liv Tyler, Betty Ross, or what's her name? Betty Ross from Incredible Hulk 2008.
Oh, that was her. Wow, that was
that's
her.
That's her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Liv Tyler, Steven Tyler's daughter.
Got it. Got it.
You
Wait,
can give
Steven Tyler's daughter?
Damn it, man. Yes.
I had no idea.
The lips.
I mean, now I know it, but wow. Okay.
Yes. Actually, her and Elijah Wood and Sean Astin, they might be the only Americans in that cast.
Okay.
Yeah. To my knowledge. Don't quote me.
Quote.
Elijah Wood might be Canadian. Don't quote me.
But they're chasing them.
Yeah, they're chasing. Oh, what were you saying?
Oh, no. Go ahead. What?
An elf can give up their mortality.
Okay. Got it.
Yes. But again, so yeah, she's chasing him for centuries. And rightfully so. Her company is kind of like, yo, we're done. We out. Because they finally get a clue, and then that's not good enough for them, because it's just another clue that leads them on to more of the goose chase, and they're like, we're out. We get this cool little action scene with them and like snow patrol. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Elijah
anyway,
Wood, American. So yeah. And we get this, her kind of journey so far is she wants to continue this hunt, but people are calling her crazy, and people are saying, you need to let go. This evil is gone. He's gone. He's not here. And you even get the likes of our other familiar character, Elrond, who comes in and says, yo, you got to stop. Like, go home and heal. Do you recognize Elrond? Does that name ring a bell?
Oh, the name? Does the name
the character.
No. Who is he? Is he from Lord of the Rings too?
Okay. No, yes.
I warned you.
It's okay. Elrond he's in the films, the original films. Okay. Basically, if there's an elf here, they're probably
alive.
Right.
3,000 years ago?
Fucking shit. Yes.
I mean, okay, yeah, Galadriel, she's alive here 3,000 years ago, so she's alive in Lord of the Rings, so I should expect it at this point.
Elrond's pretty prominent for two reasons. One, if you're talking the original series, Well, let me talk. He's the dude with a seal door, the guy who cut off Sauron and killed Sauron.
He was the guy played by Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith, Agent Smith.
You should have just led with that.
Damn
you
it,
should have just
man.
led with that, man. Oh, you know Mr. Smith. I know who it is. I remember.
I didn't know you're a Matrix fan.
Even if I'm not a fan, that's iconic. It's Mr.
Yes.
Smith.
Mr. Smith,
okay.
Hugo Weaving, Elrond was there with a seal door, cast it into the fire.
Yeah, okay.
Destroy it.
No.
The seal door. Push him, man. Push him.
You see, those scenes I remember. Those
iconic
scenes.
Iconic scene.
Very, very iconic.
So okay, no more backstory. You know who he is now.
I'm okay. I know exactly who he is.
So he's probably gonna be our other really prominent figure in this series moving forward.
Okay.
So we got two elves at the forefront, Galadriel, Elrond. He's also telling her to go. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna, if evil ever shows its face, I got you.
What a nice friend.
Very good friend. But everybody's
not return the friendship. Seemingly.
No.
I don't know. She's very focused. She's very focused on what she wants.
I don't think she wants anybody in her ear telling me, no, this evil doesn't exist. She's like, no, stupid, it's there. You're gonna regret
the signs. You don't know what I've seen.
I saw that marking.
I've seen enough, but you don't know what I've seen. I'm like, okay.
Good line, little grim, little setup, little good setup there.
It was. There's some good back and forth between them that I liked. And Elrond, like, if I'm gonna rank the characters that I like the most so far, is definitely Elrond. You know what? I'm glad I know now that he's Mr. Smith later on, because I don't know, like, he was already at the top. Like, I really like Elrond. He seems genuine. I like his character. I like his mannerisms. He's really cool. And then now you're telling me this, that confirms he was that elf that I also liked in Lord of the Rings. I'm like, yeah, no, this is my guy. I like Elrond. So I like Elrond. Galadriel's cool. She's fine. She's very serious.
She's super serious. I mean, I guess you need a character like that, and you need a guy like Elrond who's like, he's kind of withdrawn from it all, so he has a different perspective. But what's interesting, because when you think about Mr. Smith, older Elrond is hardened, because now he's seen some things.
Right. Yeah, he's very like stone cold a little bit.
Yes, super
in Lord of the Rings.
Right.
But right now he's kind of like more whimsical. Like, he's not frolicking in the forest like that elf from
that light elf.
That light elf. He's not like that, but like you could tell in his voice and his mannerisms, he's more lighthearted in this timeline right now.
Yes. We'll see how long that lasts.
It could change.
I imagine that's gonna be a focal point for them to. Galadriel looks like she's gonna stay the same for the rest of this. From where she is in the original series to now, It looks like she's about to stay the same.
It doesn't look.
Elrond is definitely gonna be. Yeah, his heart's gonna be hardened, turned to stone. Be like, we cannot trust men. I was there the day that men failed.
I mean, and he has every reason to not trust men. Goodness.
Correct. Again, jumping ahead a little. I was trying to remember if Elrond. I know he opened up Rivendell. That's where they had the council to figure out what they're gonna do with the ring.
Oh, he founded that city?
I don't know if he founded that city, but he's the leader of it.
Oh, okay.
But he opened it up to the other elves, men, and dwarves. And I was trying to think, man, I can't remember if he has like this weird kind of love-hate with dwarves. But here we see that he's got a whole friendship with Durin.
Oh, Durin, the dwarf. Is he a character at all? He looked familiar.
I would like to think, and I'll have to look this up, that Durin is related to Gimli. Same family tree.
Because he looked. I mean, it was the red beard. It was the red beard that
he definitely looks like Gimli.
Okay. That's cool to see him like that. I like their relationship with each other. They seem to have a back and forth. Well, I mean, initially, what is it? Elrond goes in there with Celebrimbor. I do want to talk about Celebrimbor.
Damn, how'd you remember that name of all names?
Well, okay. You want to know why?
Oh, is that a character?
That's one of the main characters in the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games.
Interesting. Okay.
He's a main character, even though in those games he's dead already, but his spirit, I think he's like and I hope I'm using the right term. I think he's like a wraith or something, like a ghost. He's a ghost basically, and he's inhabiting the body of a man, and he's using that man to. Goodness, I don't even remember the plot really of Shadow of War.
Don't think too hard. I'm not.
I just remember Celebrimbor was there, and in all honesty, that's how I remember how the rings were forged. He was the forger.
Okay.
He was the one that made the rings.
Oh, interesting. Oh, well.
Yes.
Well, here we go. Because Elrond goes there. Celebrimbor wants to make the forge. And he wants to make it by spring. And
do we know the timeline why he wants it by then?
He just said it. I don't think he gave a reason, but he did say the Elven King will not give him hands to help. So Elrond suggests, why don't you talk to the dwarves? I'm actually friends with Prince Durin, and Durin is the prince. So yeah, they got an interesting relationship. They're friends, but like I said earlier, time passes in a blink of an eye for an elf. So 20 years passed, and that might be for an elf, I don't know, 20 minutes.
It probably is. Knowing the 3,000 year gap between now, easily 20 minutes. I just saw you last week, Durin. What are you talking about?
You missed my wedding.
You missed me kids being born.
2 of them.
And I get it, it's probably, which is interesting because it's like, did he send an invite to Elrond, and Elrond just looked at it and said, no. And like, I'm trying to think, like, I'm assuming you sent an invite. He had to have gotten it. What did he do from there? Did he just say, "Oh no, I'll leave on the morrow to, wherever the dwarves live"? I don't know, but yeah. I mean, they had a dilemma early on. I think Durin shut him out in the beginning, right? He was not welcome there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he invoked the right of, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it.
Oh no, I missed that one. Yeah,
it's a right. He invoked a right to basically challenge
him. Yeah,
the king to, what was the game that they called it? It was like a.
Oh man, I didn't even get the name. It looks like smash rocks until you're worn out.
Right. Okay. So that was the name of the game. Ain't no way an elf beating a dwarf in this. I don't know.
In mining? Hell no.
Hell no. This is what they're born and raised for.
Look at us stereotyping.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's part of it. Actually, throughout the episode, there's a lot of kind of, oh, he's a pointy ear. Shut up, pointy ear.
Yeah, there's a lot of I mean, even going beyond Elrond, people don't like elves for some reason.
Does it look like the elves are kind of at the height of power in Middle Earth? It looks like they are the ones running things, really.
Well, it's like, do they have so there's a king, right, of Linden?
Of Linden. The High King of Elves is in Linden.
Okay, so that's where the king is. Does the king have reach over the other races. I thought he would only manage the elves. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something in the Lord of the Rings mythos where a race can extend their reach beyond other races. But I always assumed if you're a king of man, you really only have dominion over man. Same with the elves. If you're the king of the elves, your reach only goes as far as the elves are concerned. So it just seems kind of odd that like when an elf is just walking into the, like your character in the background, he just walks into a bar and they're like, "What are you doing here? You bloody elf!"
You're pointing here. What are you doing here?
That one dude, he was gonna like
mad.
slap him. "Oh, sod off, you bloody elf! Why you gonna go digging?"
Seems so uncalled for.
I think he was gonna say a slur. He was inching towards it.
I think a pointy ear is a slur.
I think it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think the elves have dominion, but it looks like when they came over, they really helped out and kind of. It looks like they're asserting power, not necessarily dominion. But we haven't seen any kings of men. Maybe they're at a low. I mean, obviously, we'll probably see it in later episodes, but yeah, it definitely seems. Well, we got Elrond, we got Galadriel, repping elves. We have this guy, Arondir. Arondir.
Okay.
He seems to be, Elrond and Galadriel are kind of high up there, I think, in nobility. And this guy just seems to be a grunt, a soldier.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
And I mean, we're talking about all this kind of racism going on.
Interesting. Why is he the foot soldier and the other ones are
the
aristocrats?
You think they're
wow.
They said, hey, we'll bring you in, but you can't play royalty, nobility. Now, granted, homegirl over here, she's like a princess, I think, essentially.
Well, I thought her thing was so is she an actual is she from oh my god,
Khazad-dûm?
No, is she aristocratic before she met Durin?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Durin is the prince and she's princess by marriage.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
I mean, that's fine. I just find it that the elves are considered the highest of beings in the Lord of the Rings mythos, and there was probably a conversation with I forgot his name again. Urundir.
Arondir, okay.
They're like what you said. "Oh yeah, we'll bring you on as an elf, but you're a grunt. You ain't playing a king. You ain't playing a princess. You ain't playing a prince."
Well, they said to him, you say, "Hey, here's the kicker though. You're gonna love this. You're in a interracial relationship that nobody likes. Elves don't like that you're part of it. Humans don't like that you're part of it." That sounds familiar, right? That's right up your territory, right?
Oh my God! Wow. That's
yes.
right.
Yes.
Oh my God, they know what they were doing.
The one black elf is in an interracial relationship that is getting all the eyes from everybody.
The one black elf who was attacked for his race in the bar that he went to, and that dude was gonna assault him. He was gonna assault him at some point. Wow, they knew what they were doing.
Ooh, I mean,
that is not a coincidence. That is not I mean, okay. To be fair, there are other people of color in this,
There are. And yes,
he's not the only one that they brought to just paint these problems for.
It's just interesting they painted the problem for him, which at the way we're talking about it sounds like a stereotypical role for a person of color, a black character in a realm full of predominantly white characters.
And to be fair, so far he is the only black elf that we've seen so far.
He is the only black elf, yes.
So it's okay to make these distinctions and be like, why is the only black elf getting these problems in this series?
Well, I mean, I guess Galadriel has one little moment too. when she's out at sea and she goes that raft full of people and he pulls her hair back. She's an elf. She's an elf.
Oh, right. Okay.
Give her
right,
no
right.
rations.
Give her no rations. You let the worm here. Pushes her.
I guess both situations are pretty aggressive towards elves, but
right.
this one's definitely a more
that was
interesting
the
topic.
more prominent one. It was throughout
Yes.
his entire story arc in these first 2 episodes.
Well, so he's in love with the girl Bronwyn. That's her name.
Okay.
Bronwyn, and well, Galadriel said evil never left. Well, this girl just investigated a cow, and the cow is spewing some blackness. It's always got to be black.
Why is the black stuff evil?
Well, yeah. Why can't it just be red? Why can't it be blood? A cow shouldn't be bleeding through the udder. Like, was that not good enough? They said bleeding through the udder. That's basic. Make it black.
It's evil. It's evil. Why are the orcs? You know what? No, I'm not even going there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
They go investigate.
Oh my God! No.
Oh, wait a minute. What, her son?
Wait. What about her son?
Oh. Just say your thought.
Because going back to Lord of the Rings, everyone is white in Lord of the Rings, and they're considered holier than thou to a certain degree. You know, they're the good guys. But the orcs are of a different pigmentation.
Yes.
And they're considered the evil ones.
This is very common across media platforms.
How
are you not realizing this?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I always, you know, and it goes into like the instinct of like just, you know, humans in general. People are afraid of the dark, of just the abyss. So they associate evilness with, you know, darkness. Like, you know,
Yes.
that's why, you know, they built campfires back then in the woods. There was no light. And you heard those ghost stories about if you venture off into the darkness, that black void, God knows what's gonna happen if you go there. I don't know. I guess I'm just having a brain blast. I just never saw this before. Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Didn't you read my paper in high school? I said
I never read this paper. Now you know what to
you
do.
do know what paper I'm talking about? Like Disney
I'm
kind of
assuming
being like
is it about
racist,
this?
and it's about how all the villains are like darker skinned and whatnot, and other acts of racism they've done.
I don't think I ever read it.
Miss
Maybe I
Thompson's
heard of
class.
it.
That's okay. That's fine.
Maybe I heard of it. You know
It's
what?
It's my crowning achievement.
You probably have it saved somewhere. I would hope so.
Maybe I really, because I mean, not on this laptop. I don't know.
It's time to dig.
I'll have to look. Yes, orcs. They go investigate this town that looks like it's been raided by orcs, but God forbid there's orcs, because if there's orcs, that means there's evil.
That means there's
And
Sauron. There has to be.
That means there's Sauron. That means Galadriel's right. They find a tunnel system, and the tunnel system's pretty long. And he's like, "Hey, I'll go check it out." And we get our first little tease at some orcs,
right?
in the current storyline,
right? Well, isn't that what the Gwendor, the girl, the lady,
Bronwyn.
Isn't that what she fought? Wasn't that an orc?
Well, then they learn when she returns back to her home, the tunnels have reached their town.
Okay.
And yes, the orc pops out.
Right, and she and her son face off against it. She held her own pretty well. She chopped.
I mean, that orc was doing work. I mean, funny enough, orcs have always seemed to be more agile. Like they're doing like wrestling moves and drop kicking people. Yeah.
This one, I don't know. I mean, he seemed really strong. He flung that table like it was like it was paper mache. Yeah. He just bam, and it went flying right at the door. So if he landed a punch on any of these two in that sequence, they're dead.
They're dead.
Easily. But you know, you have that going on. You also have the son. He has like a dagger, I guess he found. It looks like a broken orcish dagger.
Very orcish, definitely evil in nature.
It's
you
evil.
can definitely, yeah, it's evil.
He was bleeding. His blood was being drawn to the blade, and it started forming. That already said evil. Why are you holding this? Why is this in your possession? Throw it away.
And I think it started whispering to him too.
Yeah, like he would look at it, and you would hear like those whispers you would hear from like I mean, I always associate those whispers with Sauron, but it might not be Sauron. It's just evil whispers. They're devil whispers, and yeah, like that's what happens when he listens to it. That thing is evil, and he still has it in his possession when him and his mother venture off to leave their home because the orcs are here. It's time to go. Got to get out of here.
But it's just the one orc, right? Like, we don't see a league of orcs coming their way.
Oh no, I don't recall seeing a league. I just saw that one orc, and because of the existence of that one orc, that was enough proof for
everybody else.
Exactly. They're like, hey, these things are back. We gotta leave. And they're like, all right, you're right.
Because it was out. They weren't really met with any kind of backlash. It was like, she's right. We're out of here.
No, because they gave her so much crap before because she didn't have any proof. Yeah. And I think the barkeep, the shopkeep, whatever, he's like, just relax. There's nothing going on here. Bam. Here's the head. Let's go. Okay. And they left.
Yep. We're out of here.
The probably my least favorite character is I'm literally calling them the Hobbit substitute. I know they're not.
That is
Hobbits.
What they are. That is what they are.
They're Harfoots. Literally hobbits that are just living
not
out
hobbits.
in the woods. That's their main difference. I don't like the character that's like our tie-in to
kind of our Frodo, our Bilbo.
Kind of, yeah. Like
Nori,
that's her name, Nori. It's just, I don't know, like I just kind of think it's kind of cliche or generic that, oh look, it's a person that's being told to just live their life like an average Harfoot, but her mind goes off beyond the world. She wants to see what wonders there are.
Is that our isekai character? Is that what you call that?
Isekai?
I know like the anime trope.
Well,
the one who's going to be put into a brand new world, having stepped foot out of their own world.
Yeah, that is an isekai. Well, usually I think it's more specific than what you may be referring to, even though it's kind of the same thing. Like with an isekai, it's like they live in like a normal world, like our world. They die something, and then they resurrect in like a fantasy world.
Okay.
Like, with some weird mythos or whatever. So, but I get where you're going with the isekai thing. She's in her own world, the only world that she knows, and pretty soon she's about to be thrust into the expansive world of her world's gonna get turned upside down. I don't know. I'm just not really gravitated towards this character. I feel like it's just kind of boring whenever she's on scene.
I mean, I get it. It is very tropey. She's younger too, so it's always usually the young.
It's the child actress, the child
actress. And she's a child, I think. I just pulled her up. It doesn't say an age, but I couldn't tell if she's a child or like a teenager, or because they're short, but I couldn't tell.
Right.
Like kind of her age gap between like her father or whatever. But yeah, no, it's tropey. I get it. And it's just, I don't know how much of this lore is kind of like, because I know Tolkien did do a lot of, extra side stuff apart from, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings. There's the Silmarillion. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't heard of it, but I know he did expansive work outside of like the main books, kind of like what George R.R. Martin does. He has the books and then he expands on it through like side material.
Exactly. So I don't know if this character is from, I found it's the Silmarillion, which is basically, you know, set in Middle Earth and just really expands on a lot of it. I don't know if this character was in there, but if it's a character that they made for the series, I'm over here like, you know, it's not necessary. I understand though, they're trying to recapture the audience of the beauty that, you know, Peter Jackson did with the original films. And I will say the effects done at the Harfoot Village, very reminiscent of Hobbit Town.
I looked it up. They are actually a breed of Hobbit.
There you go.
I literally thought this is just a Hobbit. This is literally just a Hobbit, but it is actually a Hobbit, apparently. Like, a Hobbit's the umbrella term, and then you have the 3, like, subcategories for Hobbits. Apparently, there's 3 of them.
Well, yeah, because Smeagol, Gollum, is not a Hobbit, but Frodo mentions, you were once like a Hobbit. You were a Hobbit-like person once.
Right. I remember that line. He mentioned, like, he didn't call him directly a Hobbit, but he said you were something like one before the ring stuff happened. So yeah, there's Harfoots, Stores, and Followhides. Those are the 3 breeds of.
Oh wow, I did not even know that. I don't even know what Frodo would then count as.
I'm not sure, actually. Yeah. I mean, they always called it Hobbitses and all that stuff.
Hobbits.
So I just call them a Hobbit.
Them. Well, all right, young masters, come on.
It's so yeah, you learn something new. You see, like, and this is what the series is actually doing that I like. I didn't know this about these characters. I didn't know there were 3 different. I didn't know a Hobbit was an umbrella term for 3 different breeds of their species. So
I had no idea either.
That's actually kind of cool. I like that.
It is cool. Again, they're the source is all there. All the material is there. You know, I don't know if they're directly pulling the story from there, as far as that's what we're going to get played out across these seasons. But I'm glad they're using the source material to at least guide where this is going, because, you know, you may not like Nori, but I have an idea where her story is going as far as the comet that comes.
Okay, what is that?
Well, I believe that is the equivalent to what Gandalf is. I don't know what you call them. There's
Gandalf
a word.
Gandalf is not a man?
Well,
I mean, I know he's tall. I know he's
he's not a man. He's not a man.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's not a man.
Okay.
No, they have
wow, you think you know some basic knowledge about one of the most iconic characters, and you're like, wait, he's not
iconic characters of all of, like, media.
Everyone knows who Gandalf is.
Right. Even if you don't know Gandalf.
Oh, his race is Ainur?
Yeah, something like that.
That appears to be what it is.
Or
also known as the Holy Ones. The Holy Ones.
A Miar. I'm looking at this thing that says a Miar. Oh yeah, a lesser Anor, who enter the cosmos. Yeah, I think that's what he is. I think this is our wizard. This is a wizard.
Okay, that explains the old-looking beard. That explains the tallness. I mean, he was giving off Gandalf vibes, because I was like,
totally,
this guy's really tall, because they were referring to him as a giant. And at first, I thought they just meant that as, oh well, he's taller than what a Harfoot would look like. He must be just a giant compared to them. But then when he stood up tall and stood over them, I'm like, wait, he looks way too big. They must mean a literal, like, giant. Like, he has to be. He is not a man. He is not a man.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's definitely not a man. I'm calling it now. I think he's a wizard. He will be our de facto wizard in this series. So we got our elves. We have our Harfoots. We got some dwarves. We have our wizard. All we're missing is men. Well, we got a woman. We have women.
And we got to see the people from the realm of man. We just didn't really get too much with them. But yeah, we got dwarves, elves. It's all there. It's all there. It's all there. Yeah. Is there? There's some probably minor things that we're probably missing.
Well, we definitely got to talk about Galadriel and her choice.
She rejected heaven, basically. That was her one trip back, and she's like, nope, I know there's some devilish stuff going on out there. And,
I don't care who doesn't believe me.
She's brave for jumping into that water, because let me tell
I think she's pretty dumb to jump into that water.
Call it foolery, bravery, whatever. I'm surprised she jumped into that water, because I'm like, how are you getting back? How are you getting back? This is a fantasy world. God knows what's in that dark abyss in the ocean. Like,
well, part of me was like, okay, I guess she's gonna swim back. But then, like you're saying, I was like, wait a minute, there's gotta be stuff in that water.
And clearly there was. She got I think she encountered a ship, or not a ship, the remains. She encountered
of a ship. Remnants of a ship. Yeah.
Yeah. They pulled her on before they knew what she really was.
God forbid an elf. She's gonna take all our rations. Give her your rations.
And yeah, she gets on there and they realize, oh, you haven't encountered the worm yet. She's like, what worm? And then bam, a worm, a sea creature comes in, and it kills them. It kills some of those people on that boat.
I just like to point out, it looks from anything like a worm. It doesn't look anything like a worm.
It looks like a fish.
It looks like a serpent. Yeah.
Yeah, like a serpentile fish. Like what? I don't know. When they said worm, I was like, wow, really? A worm?
I was like, Dune? We got a Dune worm.
Except now it's a water. It's
the water. Yeah.
But no, they're not educated in this time period. They push her back into the water. Like, oh, you bloody elf. And he pushes her off. There was one guy that was able to break free from that chaos that was going on. He did it for himself, to save himself. And he saves the elf. They kind of get to know each other a little bit. Did you like their dynamic back and forth? I don't know if there was some tension between them.
It looks like a little budding tension, a little purposeful, a little, even if it's not romantic, it's definitely like, people feel some type of way about elves. She feels some type of way about humans, apparently. The first time they pulled her hair back, she was like, seemed kind of high and mighty. She's like, how dare you touch me? Remove your hand from me,
right.
Maybe elves think themselves better of people, but yeah, it looks like a little something brewing there for sure. He might be our human.
Oh, he's our main human, or like our connection to the human realm.
I think so. Hillbrand. Did I get that? Hillbrand? Hallbrand.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be our guy.
All right. I don't know too much about him yet to be, Hallbrand. Yeah, let's go.
I'm not necessarily rooting for him per se, but yeah, we don't know him. We barely really know anything about anybody yet.
Okay. Clearly,
but it's shaping up.
Character. Yeah. It's shaping up. You got some of the pieces lined up. They end up getting rescued by someone. Someone came across their raft. And also, before that, there was a sequence where, they had their little back and forth. she ends up falling into the ocean. Could have died easily. And you know, his whole shtick was, I'm only out for myself. I'm not gonna look out for anyone else. But he still dove into the water, saved her, came back up. So I don't know. That I feel like there's something budding there. I don't know. But they get picked up by some random. We don't know what race they are. If they're actually, you know what? They might be I forget what the other people on the raft earlier, what they referred to them as. It sounded like pirates.
Yeah, it was
Corsairs,
which I do believe those are pirates.
Okay.
Well, I think of the term corsair itself. Yeah, corsair. Yeah, pirates.
Okay.
And I was thinking of those men, those pirates that, I guess they were kind of pirates in Return of the King, who were in service to Sauron. I was thinking, yeah, along those lines, that's who those were.
Oh, you think they're in service to Sauron?
Oh, no. That was just where my mind went to as far as,
okay, got it.
These are the kind of people that are, they found them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's where we leave her. So it seems like as far as her quest goes, she might have a little kind of fork in the road, gets in the way of her quest.
Was that thing at the end of episode 2 the preview for 3, or was that like did you see that at the end?
Was there a preview? I didn't watch any preview.
Or maybe it was, I don't know, like it showed later events in the series. I thought it was an episode 3 preview, but I was like, damn, all this happens in episode 3? Jesus.
I know what you're talking about. That might have been it might have been episode 3, or it might have been the season. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know what the wizard is doing stuff. Some fireflies,
like screaming. He's clearly a wizard. Yeah, he has to be a wizard because things go really strangely whenever his emotions get the better of him. And I don't know. He's probably the interesting part of that that sequence with Nori, but Nori herself, I'm just like, all right. I mean, you're just Frodo.
Basically just Frodo.
Yeah, like I don't know. These other characters I'm more interested in. I'm interested in Galadriel, even though she was a character from the original series. I'm still interested in, her. I honestly, Elrond. Elrond's at the top right now. I like Elrond. Elrond, yeah.
Elrond.
No, not Elrond. Not Alphonse. No, Elrond is I like him.
I do like Elrond. Yeah.
But overall, just mostly setup, not too much outside of what we talked about really happened. Or like, are we missing anything else?
The dwarves are hiding something. They're being pretty cryptic with Elrond. Because the king showed up and he opened up this chest and he thinks that's what Elrond really wants. But we don't really. Weird. Yeah, we don't. So that there's a mystery with that. And
is Celebrimbor just waiting outside?
Yeah, I don't think Celebrimbor went inside. No.
Wow.
No, yeah, he's just outside. And the final scene is that of, Galadriel, but right before that is the Bronwyn's son, who's disapproving of the interracial, the prospect of the interracial relationship between Arondir and his mother. But that sword is speaking to him again. Right. And I think it starts to grow.
Yeah, it looked like it was when his blood came into contact with it. It looked like it was starting to reform into what it probably was before.
Yes, and his blood is literally, it's like moving towards it.
It's moving towards it.
Yeah.
He's had it for a good minute, whatever the hell this is, because he had it hiding in like a little shoebox in his farm or something. Or actually, wait, was that him? What was that? Actually, no, it's not his, because he said he found it, right?
Oh, he found it. I mean, he hid it. That's his barn. He hid it.
Oh,
in their
that's it.
barn.
Okay.
But
I thought he said something like, "Oh, I stumbled upon it by accident because of a squeaky floorboard."
I mean, maybe someone hit it there. I mean, they have the tunnels all under there.
Right.
So maybe someone hit it there because, again, I guess Galadriel said these symbols are supposed to be helping orcs or someone find Sauron. Like if you, I don't know, follow it. But that sword looks like the symbol. So
right, the pitchfork looking
yes
symbol. Okay, it does. So yeah, you got pieces moving.
Yeah.
Are you sold on to keep going with Rings of Power, or you feel like it's it needs to do more than what it did so far?
I mean, I'm sure it's building up. It's only the first 2 episodes, and with that said, I mean, again, I've always just been a sucker for the Lord of the Rings aesthetics. I think they're really nailing it here. You know, we talk about the trash CGI going on at Marvel.
Oh, yes.
I didn't think there was.
Go ahead.
I don't think anything looked bad. I think
it looked really
great.
good. It looked like, I mean, I asked it earlier. It looks like a $58 million show. Like the aesthetics, I feel like, because there's just some things you need to make with CGI to sell.
Yeah, of course.
But whenever practical effects are the preferred route, it looks like the showrunners are going in that direction. The costume sets, the backdrops, like everything looks really, really nice. And I feel like they took a page from what happened with the Hobbit trilogy and that whole mess of just everything being
CGI, yeah,
which is terrible. But it looks like they learned, and I don't know. I'm interested. I will definitely be sticking around with it, hopefully towards its ending with season 1, and depending on how it leaves us, I might be a Lord of the Rings fan again. I don't know. I mean, I've always been a fan, but
spirits are reinvigorated.
Exactly.
For a new generation, or part of a new generation.
Right. I will start digging again into the mythos. I'll start remembering more names, and maybe by episode 5 I'll be like, oh my god, in the second age of man, this is exactly what happened.
See. Man, I don't know. Maybe I will pick up Shadow of Mordor, one of those.
It's a really good series. It's really good.
Yeah, I think this has done enough looks wise, and it's good storytelling so far. I wouldn't say it blew me out of the water, but like, I really appreciate we're back to form, and that is enough for me to keep watching. And again, as a Lord of the Rings fan, I have high hopes, for battles coming soon. Lord of the Rings is pretty good with dialogue as well. There's some really good stuff. And yeah, just kind of, they set some mysteries. I would like to see them unfold and see how they play into the bigger scope of Lord of the Rings. So that will be fun. I'm invested.
You real quick, you mentioned how you're interested in potentially playing Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. Do you want to know what the combat system is often compared to?
It's Batman, right?
Yes.
I heard that.
Favorite Arkham.
Oh my god, yes, and I heard like the stealth too and whatnot.
It is literally verbatim Arkham, but in a good way.
Yes, in a good way, right?
You'll love it. All
right, of course. Right. I'm sure I will enjoy. I'm sure I would.
It's good. It's a great series.
I take your word for it.
But yeah.
Are we wrapping up?
I think we're wrapping up. That's the first 2 episodes of Rings of Power.
Yeah. Tune in. They drop Thursday nights.
Night.
Who knows when you'll get our coverage? You might get it the night of, you might get it the next day. But we're here. We got you covered. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Amazon Prime TV, go check it out. But listen, thank you folks for coming and sitting in with us here at the Yonkō Table. Make sure to follow us on all social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We got big things popping on TikTok, so make sure you hop on that TikTok train before you miss it and you can't say you were with us since day one.
Almost at 6K.
Ooh, almost at 6K, and that's literally over a week. You know, we were at like 3K last week. We making things, we popping, baby. But listen, the discourse that you hear, if you want to be a part of it, please join our Discord through the link below, and we're in there every day talking it up about all your shows, everything that we cover, and then some. So be sure to join us sometime in the Discord. But hey, without further ado, the Frodo to my Sam, DrJaceAttorney, and I am the Sam to the Frodo, GrandMasterHoop. We're signing out. Y'all take care.
What about steak and breakfast?